Hello and welcome into the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I am Evan Closky alongside Ashley Gonzalez, who is filling in for Chris Porter once again. How we living, Ashley?
Evan, first of all, it's great to see you again. And second of all, the Jaguars beat the Chiefs. Evan, I'm doing fantastic. But on the contrary, we have a great show for you. And the Lightning and Panthers hate each other. The Gators are showing signs of life, and we finally met new Rays ownership. But we got to start with the Jags and that crazy Monday night victory. And while that sweet success was sweet to cover, it did come with a little sour as tight end Bretton Strange was taken out of the game because of a hip injury. One of the best receivers on the team, he hurt his hip on a 22-yard play. He's expected to be out for at least 4 weeks, and the earliest we might be able to see him on the field would be week 11. That's if he's able to go. In this league, though, Evan, once you miss even 1 week, the groove can get thrown off, especially for that offense. Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen and quarterback Trevor Lawrence said you hate to see someone like Bretton go down.
Physical presence for sure, the way that he plays, the violence, just he can pry some stuff open on his own just by playing the way he plays.
Really does a lot for us, passing game, running game, screen game, everything. I mean, he's an important piece to our offense. So, you know, we're going to miss him. Obviously want him to get healthy as fast as he can and take care of himself. And, I know, as much as we're going to miss him, no one wants to be out there more than him.
So because Bretton will be out for some time, the Jaguars wasted no time in filling the gap. They signed running back Cody Schrader, who will take the extra gap in that roster. Schrader spent 2 weeks through 5 of the 2025 season on the Jaguars active roster and began the season on the Los Angeles Rams practice squad. So we will see there if he fills the gap just as we need him to, Evan.
Yeah, hopefully that Jaguars offense won't skip a beat without one of their best receivers. He helps out in the run game as well. But on the other side of the ball, how about Devin Lloyd? He is looking like an all-pro, Ashley.
Yo, you just say Devin Lloyd, and I want to run through this monitor. I think I say that every week, but Devin Lloyd has been making headlines for like 2 weeks straight. Evan, in the first week of October, Lloyd was named the AFC Player of the Week. Then literally 24 hours later, he was named AFC Player of the Month. Not only does the man have 4 interceptions, but this season alone against the Chiefs, he picked off Patrick Mahomes and went 99 yards to the house. He was all over those defensive honors for week 4. And he's going to be up there again for week 5, I think at least.
Obviously made some plays. Everybody made a lot of big plays. I think for me it's just about taking it one day at a time, finding ways to improve, remaining humble and knowing what areas of my game I have to improve at.
Not say enough great things about the defensive coaching staff. The Jaguars had 9 takeaways in 2024, and the team already has 14 this season, leading the NFL right now by a large margin. I don't know, things are brewing on the defensive side over here in Jacksonville, Evan.
The Jags have 10 interceptions. The Buccaneers have 9 total dating back to last season, but one of those interceptions helped the Buccaneers win in Seattle, so let's transition to Tampa Bay. The Cardiac Buccaneers are back at it again. The team has won 4 games by a combined 9 points. On one hand, the team has yet to put together a full 60 minutes in all 3 phases. On the other hand, they thrive in stressful situations. Usually that's the mark of a good team. The Buccaneers practice 2-minute drills religiously. They struggled mightily last year in those spots. And now we're seeing the scar tissue from that turn into a hot start for the 2025 Buccaneers. And it puts them in a spot to go 5-1 for just the 6th time in franchise history.
It's always 1 or 2 more plays, but it's a maturity factor and an understanding of everybody playing smarter football, too, with Rashad going down in bounds and Levante making the game-winning interception right there, and just the small things in 2 minutes that we didn't get done last year.
The one thing we haven't seen from this team is that killer instinct Todd Bowles was talking about in training camp. Still plenty of time for that to emerge when this team gets a little bit healthier.
That's the key right there, Evan, as soon as that team gets a little bit healthier. Evan, this offense dropped about 38 points and is still missing some key pieces to that unit.
Yeah, that's the thing, Ashley, about this squad. They're still playing with one hand tied behind their back. First and foremost, let me just say, the team goes as Baker Mayfield goes. Baker is on one right now, playing at an MVP level. He's right up there with Josh Allen in that conversation. But think about this offense with Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Luke Gedeke, Jalen McMillan, and a healthier Chris Godwin Jr. Yes, that is assuming that nobody has a setback. We already are seeing Chris Godwin Jr. deal with that, and nobody else gets hurt. But this is a stacked group. It reminds me of the 2020-2021 Buccaneers. Those teams had so much talent. It was a nightmare for teams to stop them. AB, Gronk, Evans, Godwin, Fournette. That's what I'm seeing here. I'm also seeing a lot more deep shots, which is a nice wrinkle from Josh Grizzard and what he's brought to this offense. He's looking like a great OC early.
I've said this, all play callers, the really good ones, great ones, whatever you want to say, adjust to their personnel. And we've had to do that with the rotation on the O-line, injuries at receiver, skill groups. And so he's done that, hasn't flinched, and that's a lot. That's a lot on his plate, but he's handled it really well.
Grizz is making defenses defend every blade of grass. That's east and west and north and south. This is looking like a really good hire from Todd Bowles and Jason Light in the offseason.
Well, lots of teams in their prove-it era after some upsets here and there, bouncing over to college football. Now the FSU Seminoles with a lot to prove. Mike Norvell and the Seminoles with another ACC showdown coming up against Pittsburgh. Look, on paper, you got to favor the Seminoles and expect them to win. But keep in mind, they've lost 2 straight games, so this could be an opportunity to gain some confidence back or make it 0-3 in the last 3 weeks. If you're FSU, you can't go and beat Alabama, then get smoked by Virginia and Miami. The Noles are sitting at second to last place in the ACC. The defense will have to step it up, and so far they've clocked 6 interceptions so far this season, and well, they'll just have to keep trolling.
It presents some great challenges for us. I mean, they're going to force the issue defensively, and we got to do a great job of playing with our eyes. Working to try to keep them off balance, and then take advantage of the opportunities when we can get in space.
I mean, if the Seminoles go 0-3 this week, it'll be time to light the candles and pray, Evan, because it might take a miracle to get this team on the right track and not keep losing on that losing train that they're on right now.
Yeah, they're in like that Notre Dame territory. They have to win. They got to do it convincingly. They're still ranked right now, but they're hanging on the fringe there. So, as you mentioned, this is a great confidence spot for them. As for the rivals, the Florida Gators picked up a much-needed win against Texas in the Swamp. Maybe the team just need a little sprinkle of Dallas Wilson, the freshman wide receiver out of Tampa, made some debut for this program. He was named SEC Freshman of the Week. Makes you think what could have changed for this offense if he was in the fold week 1, but hopefully he is healthy and ready to roll the rest of the way. Wilson had a game-high 6 receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns in his first collegiate game. He set Florida records for receptions, yards, and touchdowns for a true freshman wide receiver. He was a highly, highly coveted prospect out of Tampa Bay Tech for a reason, and you saw why.
I'm going to tell you, his energy, I think, was a spark this week. In practice, I mean, he was just doing what he did out there today and really elevated. The energy went to a different level, and he's got a great spirit about him. He's fun to be around.
I know Florida has a long way to go to save its season, but the schedule is so darn tough for this squad. If they can rattle off a bunch of wins here, they'll be back in the top 25 in no time.
Well, they've managed to make some miracles happen this season. Maybe if it's a little bit more consistent, I don't know, maybe they can make some more things happen. But coming up in the Ultimate Florida Sports Show, our Heart of the Game segment where we get to shine light on more than just the wins and losses. Florida make room for a brand new professional basketball team.
As for the ultimate rush, the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning tallied more than 500 penalty minutes in their final 2 preseason games. Why this happened and who is to blame for the antics.
Time now for the Ultimate Rush. This is where we get to dig into some more topics affecting the Sunshine State and beyond.
The only catch is we have 60 seconds to make our point, and I'm going to start us off with the new Rays ownership group making their first appearance. There were 2 questions everyone had entering this press conference. 1, what were the plans for a new stadium, and 2, would payroll increase? As for the first question, the ownership group said they're looking for a mixed-use property a la the Battery in Atlanta. The team is looking for at least 100 acres to play with, and it will be a public and private partnership. They said they'll look all over the Tampa Bay area for a home, but there is no way they haven't done their homework up to this point, considering they want opening day in a new ballpark set for 2029. The team also made it very clear that until this development gets up and running, the economics around the baseball team will not change. So for those who thought, hey, the team might go after Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger or Pete Alonso, think again. We've been through the stadium saga here before. We're going on like year 15. I think we'll believe it when we see it. But for now, it's looking like the group will make a strong push to move to Hillsborough County, maybe across from Ray J, and that area around Dale Mabry might be completely different in 10 years.
Well, to your point, we should call Patrick Mr. Money Move, since he moves in silence until he drops a couple million here or there, not to mention a donation that he made right here in Jacksonville, a $6 million donation that he made in Jacksonville this week. Speaking of moves in Jacksonville, the Jaguars have traded cornerback Tyson Campbell for Greg Newsome of the Browns. Evan, the way my jaw dropped when I saw the news, OMG, look, Tyson is one of the leaders in that secondary. But when you think about James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, if there's one thing we know by now about the Jaguars, it's that these dudes are not messing around when they said they're building a program that has that dog in it. But what's a little confusing to me on paper, Tyson is the dude you want to keep. He has better numbers, technically, and now I'm not saying Newsome isn't someone who can provide big plays. I'm just saying, why Tyson, why now? The Jaguars defense might be, if it ain't broke, don't fix it team right now. Nonetheless, questions will be answered by the Jaguars. They're 4-1 right now, Evan, so maybe I can give him some grace. But again, if I'm being honest, I wasn't expecting Tyson to get traded at 10 p.m. on a random weekday. I don't know. Stranger things have happened in Duval.
Yeah, you know what? Different ownership group gave him that contract, and what I love about this new ownership group, what I love about this new group of leaders is that they are tinkering and taking chances with the roster. I think there's some inefficiency in the trade market. Well, the NHL is back in our lives, but before we can fully talk about the regular season, we have to put a bow on the preseason, where the Bolts and Panthers fought for north of 500 minutes in the final 2 exhibition games. Long story short, Brandon Hagel laid a nasty hit on the Panthers last year in the playoffs. He was suspended a game. Hagel came back later in that series to only take a nasty hit of his own. Aaron Ekblad gave Hagel a concussion, and he was suspended 2 games for that. Then in Tampa, the 2 teams met last week, and A.J. Greer sucker punched Hagel in the head twice. The Bolts neither liked that response nor NHL's response to that. So with them only issuing a fine to Greer, as a result, the Bolts called up the Goon Squad in Sunrise and went after Florida all night long. The Bolts were fined and suspended. The Panthers got nothing. And all I'll say is the NHL has massively messed this up. They need to be in the job of de-escalating situations, but now things are only worse when these 2 teams will meet in November. I have a really tough time believing we aren't going to see more antics. Also, I'm going to take a guess. Other teams take a run at the Panthers because many believe they're getting preferential treatment on some of this stuff.
Well, I will admit, I do love when things get a little spicy in sports, but not that spicy. That's kind of crazy and a little bit too violent. I don't know. Moving on now to the heart of the game. This is where we go beyond the X's and O's and remind you why we all fell in love with sports in the first place. This week, I'm bringing it to the table. Jacksonville will be home to the new Upshot League. It's a professional women's basketball league with former WNBA president Donna Orender as the commissioner of the Upshot League. And while this is a special time for women's sports on our First Coast and the rest of Florida, is what the name will be actually for this team. Introducing the Jacksonville Waves. And the name Waves comes from, well, the obvious, right? But mainly the name also pays homage to the pioneering Waves, aka Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Service, when they shattered barriers at NAS Jacksonville by stepping into new roles long denied to women.
We're here to inspire the next generation in Jacksonville, to show young people, especially young girls, that their dreams are worth chasing and that they do come true.
I don't know. I'm pumped by that soundbite alone. The Waves are set to tip off in 2026, and there are also several new teams coming to life because of this new Upshot League. I don't know. As soon as you throw in Donna Orender in there, sign me up right now.
Yeah, and look, women's sports right now, I mean, what they're going to be 5, 10, 15 years from now, it's phenomenal to see all the opportunities they'll have, and especially, for our kids and moving forward, it's going to be something of the norm, which is something that hasn't really been presented to women so much so in the past. So that's awesome stuff there. Coming up in a few minutes, time now for the Ultimate Stakes. We'll take a look at the games affecting the NFL Florida teams and outline our best bets.
This might sound strange, but I wasn't always a good dad. My kid needed to hear me say, I'm sorry.
See what you got. Oh, you gonna back me down? So you gonna pose me?
He knows I'm not perfect, but he knows I'm trying. That's why I choose to be a father first.
We are back for our Ultimate Stakes segment. This is where we take a look at the odds via the Hard Rock betting app and give you our thoughts on teams or games. It all depends on the week.
But just a reminder, this is for entertainment purposes only, so don't come after us unless you're spreading some love. I will start us off with the Jaguars. The Jaguars are hosting Seattle at the bank right here for their second home game in 2 weeks. So far, they're playing some good football and finding some luck. The Jaguars are favored by 1.5 points. I got the Jaguars winning if Trevor lets the dogs out and if he played how he did against the Chiefs, minus the fumble and the pick, okay? He will lead the offense, hopefully, and the defense. Hopefully, we can get Trayvon Walker back at him, and that way Walker and Hines Allen can go to work. But obviously, when you talk about the Seahawks, you see Cooper Kupp, and need I say more? Need I say more? They're 3-2 right now, and the Jaguars, yeah. I mean, I'm still choosing the Jags, but they really have to play in all three corners of football.
This is a really difficult spot for the Jags. I want to see how they come off that Monday Night Football win and turn around quickly against an explosive offense. As for the Buccaneers and Niners game, if you believe history repeats itself, I'll let you know that Todd Bowles has never beaten Kyle Shanahan. The Bucs are 0-4 against San Francisco with Todd Bowles running the defense since 2019. The Niners have tallied at least 400 yards of offense in 3 straight games against Tampa Bay and bring the top-rated passing offense in the league to Tampa. As of this taping, Mac Jones's line is sitting at 248.5 passing yards, considering the Bucs are really good against the run, and Christian McCaffrey is averaging 3.1 yards per touch. I like that over. I like Emeka Egbuka going over his yards against a zone-heavy scheme. I also think we're going to see plenty of scoring. I think Cade Otton has another great day. The Niners don't have a great pass rush. He will be free. So if you want to throw a dart, plus 300 for a tutty.
Well, both of those teams are 4-1 entering that game. Evan, what about Miami? What about them Dolphins?
Yeah, first of all, the Chargers are playing some bad football right now. I know they're heading back east for a 1 o'clock game, but it smells like a get-right spot for them, especially against a Dolphins team that simply isn't good. Gave up a huge lead in Carolina last week, just an entire team that's on the struggle bus. And what we have seen that's gone terribly wrong for the Dolphins is that rushing defense. And I know that the Chargers running backs are depleted, and we got Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal. Whatever. Ride them. I think that they're going to run all over this Dolphins team because everyone rides all over this Dolphins team. So that is my best look at this contest, Ashley.
Well, and the hot seat will only get hotter for Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, in a few minutes, time for our last word, why baseball players are taking their celebrations too far in the playoffs.
Time now for our last word. Evan, take it away.
Here's the get off my lawn take. Why do we have to celebrate every round of the playoffs in Major League Baseball? I get making the playoffs. I can even understand making it to the World Series, winning the World Series, duh. But like, we have to pop bottles after winning the wild card round, the divisional round. No other sport does this. It is just silliness, all right? We cannot be popping bottles 5 times in the playoffs in a 1-month span. Pick 3. All right, make the playoffs, making the World Series, and the World Series. Ashley, I want no more of this tomfoolery.
Oh my God, popping the bottles is probably such like a dream for them. Okay, so moving over. My last word is Bad Bunny being the halftime Super Bowl performer. I mean, sign me up, because guys, if we're not getting with the Times is saying that the NFL wants to expand worldwide. And I know Pitbull already took Mr. Worldwide title, but if we're talking about 2025 and we're talking about Bad Bunny playing in the halftime performance in 2026, the NFL is reaching out to Mexico, Brazil, London. The Jags are in London very soon. So I say, let's get on this train. Bad Bunny is for the people. And I've said this once, Evan, and I'm going to say it again. Sports and music will bring people together. And I don't know, I'm not getting political, but I think coming together is something that we can all do and gain from.
And look, with the NFL trying to expand this game internationally, at some point they want to have every single team every year play overseas. Bad Bunny is going to attract everybody overseas. Thank you, Ashley, for stepping in for Chris. Thank you all for watching at home. We'll be back next week.